On the sides of the cover there are two tabs. Pull those and release the cover, pulls forward. Inside the cover is a programming guide. Very simple, not a lot of information, but great for the installer. Not really meant for deep level programming. It also has some information on the bypass. Again, very light duty paperwork, but good information to have. It's kind of a nice feature of the clack valve. Remove the cables. Make sure you've powered down before you do this. That was the motor cable, power and meter cables, of course. Now you're going to pull up on that tab right there, and that will release the circuit board. Circuit board does pull forward. I'm going to show you a couple minor things for putting it back in later. There is a hole that lines up to a peg right there. Makes it a lot easier if you understand that that does exist to reinstall it later. This is the motor and drivetrain plate. Two tabs, lift up on those slightly, and the whole drivetrain pops off forward and up. Remove the power cable and the meter cable, and that'll release the whole assembly. Fairly simple to remove. Also, the motor can be removed for service. Simply push that tab out and pull the motor out to replace it. This is a 12-volt DC motor, very heavy duty. Very rare that those would need to be replaced, but if it does, it's a very simple job to do. It's very important before you start reassembling. Notice the cable there, it must be in the guides. It tends to fall out. You can do some damage to the cables if you try to put this assembly on without relocating those wires. Again, this goes down to the two bottom clips and snaps into the upper piece up there. Next, you're going to reroute the cables, the power and meter cables, through the guides on the right side of the valve. And then you're going to reinstall the circuit board. Again, remember that little hole that we discussed earlier and the peg on the valve. Those need to line up. There is also a guide on the right side down low that it latches into. It's got to be keyed properly or it will not work. Push it into the upper latch, reconnect your cables, and the valve is basically rebuilt. And simply reinstall your main cover, and the next